Hi, grade 5. It's teacher Ellie here. So last meeting, that was last week, Wednesday, November 10. A lot of you were not able to attend the Google Meet class because some come to school to practice for the competition and some were just absent. So for those who were absent, I asked you to answer your workbook on pages 32 to 37. So the content of this clip is about answering that. So I'm going to help you for you to be able to have a better understanding, or it's like a refresher of your past lessons. So, okay, let's begin. I'm now going to share my screen. All right, let me check if I'm on the correct workbook. Okay, hold on. Okay, let me share my screen again. Sorry. So let's go to grade 5 workbook. Again, you need to have your workbook right now. Let's begin on page 32. So it is a must that you watch this video, because truly it will help you a lot. It will make it easier for you to answer. And now I will be explaining why this is the answer for this question. Do you understand? Okay, so it's actually like a test. And I think this test tackled all the previous chapters that you have learned in the past. So let's get it on. So number 1, you have to write down the correct answer. I'm always telling you to follow the instruction. The last time I checked your science examination papers, the instruction or the direction there was to, example, shade the letter or encircle the letter, but some of you were doing something else. And it's very important that you follow the direction, okay? Because if you will be under a strict teacher, then even if your answer is correct, but you were not following the instruction, you will still be marked wrong. Okay, let's start now. Number 1, which of the following is a living component in an environment? A, soil, B, temperature, C, fungi, or D, light. So the key word here is a living component in an environment. The answer is letter C. Fungi is a living component in an environment. Number 2, which of the following allows an animal to live in water? A, feathers, B, gill chambers, C, gills, D, blubber. So I think these are unique characteristics of certain group of animals, correct? So let's take note that we're talking about allows an animal to live in water. I think the answer is letter C, gills. Fish have gills, right? Okay, let's move on. Number 3, which of the following shows the positive effects of man on the environment? Positive, which means good for the environment. Positive effect of man, of human activities. A, mining, B, setting up wildlife sanctuaries, C, poaching, D, deforestation. The answer is letter B, mining. Remember, these are harmful human activities that we can reduce to lessen the negative effects on the environment. So when we set up wildlife sanctuaries, we're making new homes for our wild animals, since a lot of negative human activities are just unstoppable. So number 4, which of the following is a structural adaptation? Structural. Okay. A, blowhole. B, migration. C, hunting in groups. D, hibernation. I think the answer is A, but let's see. Correct, because the rest, excuse me, the rest of it, migration, hunting in groups, and hibernation are behavioral adaptation. Examples of behavioral adaptation. So let me just drink water. Number 5, which of the following shows a group of omnivores? Omnivores are meat eaters. Let's see. A, elephant. Dolphin, chicken. B, chicken. Rat, gibbon. C, polar bear, lion, cheetah. Or D, panda, chicken, sheep. I think the answer is letter C. Oh, I'm wrong. Polar bear, I guess, are probably omnivores, right? Okay, but regardless, the correct answer is B. Yes, she can eat some worms and rat and gibbon. Gibbon is, I think, an example of another group of animals. Number 6, which of the following is not obtained from forests? A, natural gas. B, paper. C, firewood. D, cocoa beans. Not obtained from forests? Letter A, natural gas. This is obtained, this is one of examples of fossil fuels. Number 7, which of the following are ways to reduce land pollution? Okay, we have some choices in here. So first is recycle waste. 2, buy things that come with many layers of packaging. 3, use reusable shopping bags instead of plastic bags. Number 4, try to repair objects before throwing them away. I think it's 1 and 3 and 4. So it's probably C. Let's see. Correct. So we should not be buying things that come with many layers of packaging because it's probably a lot of plastics in there. Number 8, how do desert plants adapt to hot and dry conditions? A, they have needle-like leaves to increase photosynthesis. B, they have needle-like leaves to reduce transpiration. C, they have thick stems that store food. Letter D, they have short roots that absorb water. The answer is letter B. Those needle-like leaves reduce transpiration. Number 9, study the food chain below. Shrub, impala, leopard. Leopard. Yes, it's leopard. Which of the following is true? A, the shrub is a primary consumer. B, the impala is a primary consumer. C, the impala is a secondary consumer. Or D, the leopard is a producer. Look at the food chain. Which one do you think is true in these statements? A, B, C, or D? The answer is letter B. The impala is the primary consumer of the shrub, right? So number 10, which of the following is not obtained from mining activities? A, iron. B, copper. C, gold. D, wood. The answer is, of course, letter D. We get wood from the forests. from cutting down trees or deforestation. Number 11, study the food web. So this is a food web. Okay, which of the following is true? D is a herbivore here. A is an omnivore. C is a primary consumer. Or D, only F is a producer. Based from the food web below, the correct answer is C. C is the primary consumer in that food web. All right. Number 12, which of the following does not depend on the wind for seed dispersal? It's independent. It doesn't depend on the wind for seed distribution. A, burdock plant. B, sharea tree. C, ansaneth tree. Or D, dandelion plant. The answer is burdock plant. Number 13, which of the following does not help plants adapt to living in water? Does not help. Always take note of things. If the word is not that, think about your answer again. Again, which of the following does not help plants adapt to living in water? A, large floating leaves. B, aerial roots. C, air-filled sacs and leaf stalks of water hyacinth. Or D, water-filled sacs and leaf stalks of water hyacinth. So probably the answer is between C or D, because yes, the first one is air-filled, the second one is water-filled. So which one? The answer is D, water-filled sacs and leaf stalks of water hyacinth. So it doesn't help the plant to adapt to living in water. Number 14. Oh, we're heading towards the finish of the objective questions. After the 15th number, we will go to the subjective questions behind, meaning your answers there might be considered, but I'll still be showing you the sample answers in here, but you can still answer in your own as long as it is still correct and it is based from what we have studied before. Okay, number 14. Which of the following are not natural resources? A, crude oil. B, nylon. C, glass. D, quartz. So which of the following are not natural resources? I think the answer is B and C, but let's check. Correct. These are already materials made from our natural resources. So crude oil and quartz are natural resources. So let's see another food web on the last number 15. What happens when the number of P decreases? This is number of P in here. The number of M will decrease. The number of O will increase. M here, O here. The number of R will decrease, and the number of L will decrease. Let's see. The correct answers are, so if P decreases here in number, the number of M will also decrease, and the number of O will increase. So R here and L are not affected. Let's go to the subjective questions. Number 16. Phi holds a water hyacinth plant completely underwater. He cuts a leaf stalk of the water's hyacinth plant. What will he observe? So he will observe air bubbles coming out of the leaf stalk. And let's explain his observation. So the leaf stalks contain sacs that are filled with air. Letter C, why is it important for a water hyacinth to stay afloat on water? It is so that it can receive sunlight, which is needed for photosynthesis. That's why one of the objective questions, what doesn't help the plants to, let's go back there. Which one of the following does not help plants adapt in living water? So water fills sacs in leaf stalk of water hyacinth, because meaning to say the water hyacinths will sink and shrink, and then will sink, and then later on it will not be able to receive as much sunlight that it needs. So it has to stay afloat on water. Number 17, study the food chain below. Okay, please wait. And answer the questions that follow. So grass here, the primary consumer, secondary consumer. So let's describe the feeding relationship between the hawk and the snake. The hawk feeds on the snake, so the hawk eats the snake. Which is the tertiary consumer in the food chain above? Of course, it's the hawk. So it begins here, the rabbit, the primary consumer, the secondary consumer is the snake, and the tertiary consumer, or the third consumer, is the hawk. Letter C is what will happen to the number of rabbits if the number of snakes increases? I think it will decrease. It will decrease because there's too much secondary consumer, so there will be less primary consumer. Explain how decomposers get their nutrients. So they break down dead plants and animals into nutrients. All right, did you understand number 17? Let's go to number 18, the last number for this. Oh, not yet. The last number for subjective questions, am I correct? Oh no, this is only third to the last number. So we will finish until number 20. The animal shown below lives in a desert. We all know that that is a camel. So describe how the animal can survive without eating for a long periods of time. What does camel uniquely have that makes it survive without eating for a long periods of time? So the humps behind a camel's back store fats that is converted to energy when there is no food. Do you understand? Okay, now letter B for that. Suggest another adaptation that helps the animal to survive in a desert. How do you think animals will survive in a desert? It sweats very little or reduce transpiration, because if you sweat a lot, then you release a lot of water that it will make you more thirsty and dehydrated later on, right? But I can accept all possible answers here still. Oh wow. Why did we easily jump to? Actually, your workbook is up until page 39, but I guess you have to do that on your own since our slide here is only up to page 18. So that's the only last two numbers that you have to answer. Anyway, it's subjective questions, meaning I can still accept answer as long as it is based on the book, it is based on what you have learned, and as long as it is correct. All right, it doesn't have to be word for word for me to check your answers. You don't need to have exactly the same answer. Okay, so I'm gonna stop sharing now. So all right, grade 5, I hope this video helps you a lot, because this was already a homework before for those who were absent. I really wish you would always attend our Google Meet and, you know, interact, and or if not, at least watch the videos, right? Because I'm really trying to help you in here for you to somehow learn in this pandemic time. Okay, so I'll see you. Wait, let me check the schedule. I think I'm gonna see you. Yes, I will see you tomorrow. Today is Tuesday and tomorrow is Wednesday. I will see you tomorrow at 9:30. All right. So this is it, grade 5. See you next time. Goodbye.